Good morning. My name is Jennifer, and today we're going to be making gallo pinto, which is a traditional Costa Rican dish. So I'm going to have my skillet here. I'm going to turn the flame on to medium just to get it warm. In the meantime, I'll show you some of my ingredients. We have delicious black beans, which is used widely in Latin America. Of course, lots of different dishes with black beans, full of fiber, super healthy. More beans, the better. I also, instead of white rice, today I'm using a blend of brown rice and quinoa. And unlike the traditional recipe, which usually calls for peppers, red peppers, I'm using corn. I'm going to start off first by adding some diced onion, about half a cup, and we'll get those nice and toasted. Just heat those up until they're soft. In the meantime, the amount I have for black beans is about a cup. Of course, all of these amounts are very flexible. I also have a cup of rice, and I have about half a cup of corn. But of course, these types of recipes are really generous in that use what you have. For example, I did not have red peppers this morning, and so instead of red peppers, I'm using the corn. Always sticking with, plant-based ingredients and really just tweaking the recipe in a way that works with what we have on hand. So I'm also using a sauce called Lisano, salsa Lisano. This is actually a traditional ingredient from Costa Rica. It has spices like cumin and oregano, and so I'll be using that in this recipe. And what I'm going to do is, after I get the onion nice and sauteed, I'm just going to add my beans. I'm going to get those nice and warm, get those all nice and cooked up. Many of you may know that Costa Rica is actually one of the blue zones, in particular the Nicoya Peninsula. Those blue zones reaping all kinds of benefits for health and longevity, living on mostly a plant-based diet. And this particular dish, gallo pinto, is often eaten at breakfast. And I really love that because in my culture, living here, growing up in North America, in the United States, we are not used to eating beans for breakfast. So, and as we say, the more beans, the better, right? So after I get these nice and warm, I'm actually going to turn up my heat a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and add the corn. Again, this is about a half a cup of corn. You decide how much you want to put in, okay, depending on how much you like corn or how much you like pepper. And actually, the red bell pepper is really pretty with the color. Like I said, I just didn't happen to have one, so. And as I get that nice and toasted and cooked up nice and warm, I'm going to start adding some salsa Lisano to get some of the flavor going. And again, we could probably do this just on our own. We could add some cumin, oregano, salt and pepper. And after I get this nice and warm and cooked and blended, I'm going to lastly add the rice. Now again, traditionally, we would be adding white rice. And as this morning is going, I did not have any white rice on hand. So I am making adjustments, and I'm using a brown rice quinoa blend. and I'm just going to add that last. And I'm going to, again, that was about a cup or so of rice. And I can already smell all of the lovely fragrance from the spices in that salsa lisano. And what I like about also adding our own spices, if you didn't happen to have salsa lisano, it would be to be able to regulate the amount of fat in this recipe. There is a little bit of oil in the salsa lisano. So, and that's really all there is to it, is blending good traditional rice and beans. Again, the recipe typically calls for a red bell pepper, but instead I used corn this morning. And then at the very end, we would sprinkle with some cilantro for another nice addition of flavor and a pop of color, which makes it really beautiful and also very delicious. Thank you so much for watching. Happy cooking.